I love DJing and I love teaching people to DJ. And whenever I teach beginners, my first goal is always the same: to make the whole process feel automatic. So you're not stuck in your head wondering what to do next, and instead you're actually feeling the music and enjoying yourself. That's exactly what this video is going to give you. DJing doesn't have to feel overwhelming. You don't need months of practice or expensive gear. You just need the right structure. I'm going to walk you through everything step by step and have you jamming a smooth, pro sounding set within an hour. After teaching thousands of students, I've realized I can get people DJing pretty quickly, but when it came to practicing on their own, that's where most people hit a wall. They didn't have playlists to jam with, and they'd get stuck overthinking what songs to pick, what genres do I mix? Do I mix by key, BPM, or even how do I keep the energy flowing between tracks? So now, for the first time ever on YouTube, I'm gonna do exactly for you what I did back then for my students. Teach you how to DJ and then get you jamming a playlist I've put together especially for you. This is going to help you to build momentum fast as you get a feel for mixing without the overwhelm of figuring out what to play next. It's going to also help you explore a mix of genres, understanding how energy flows across a set, but most of all, through repetition, I'm going to condition the mixing process so you're going to be thinking less and feeling more in no time at all. Alrighty, let's access this playlist. So first things first, I've made a streaming playlist for you inside of Beatport Streaming. Beatport Streaming lets you access millions of tracks directly inside your DJ software. Whether you're using Rekordbox, Serato, Traktor, Virtual DJ, it all works in the same way. Now, if you don't already have a Beatport Streaming account, no stress, you can grab a free 1-month trial, which gives you full access to the entire Beatport catalog. Once you've signed up, click the playlist link underneath this video. That's going to open up the follow along playlist where I've made a playlist in order. Man, anyway, we're going to get to that. Anyway, so open up the link, hit the plus icon, choose create playlist, and then it's going to save direct to your Beatport library. Then next, go to your DJ software, head to the Beatport icon and look under playlists, and there it is. Now my advice is select all the tracks by pressing Control A and then right click and choose import to collection. That way the tracks load instantly next time you open your DJ software. I suggest you jam through the playlist from start to finish at least once to feel the flow and also to practice the transitions as they are. But after that, feel free to evolve the set, swap a track out here and there, try new ideas and make the playlist your own. All right, so now we've got the playlist. You're going to notice there's one thing missing: cue points. Unfortunately, these tracks don't come with cue points built in, so we're going to need to set them ourselves. Before I show you my cue point method, which guarantees all your mix points line up perfectly, let's quickly talk about memory cues versus hot cues. Hot cues let you jump around a track in real time, which is great for live edits and mashups on the fly, as memory cues act more like visual markers. Now in Rekordbox, I use memory cues to mark the exact in and out points for every transition, which keeps everything perfectly aligned. Now, if your setup doesn't include memory cues or you're using different software, no stress, just use your hot cues in the same spots that I do and use them as markers instead of jumping around the track real time. So we're just marking in and out points. Before we set any cue points, let's talk about where in the song we're actually going to mix. Generally, the chorus is the busiest and most energetic part of a track. For beginners, one of the cleanest and safest ways to mix is to bring your new track in after the chorus finishes. That way, the crowd gets to hear the main section of the track, and as that energy starts to wind down, your new track starts to build in. So the chorus ends, bang, it's a really good transition point. Most songs have a couple of choruses. So you might be wondering, should I mix in after the first chorus, somewhere in the middle of the track, or after the last chorus over the outro? Honestly, how much of each song you play is up to you. But if you're just starting out, I recommend mixing in after the last chorus over the outro. See, mixing on the outro, even though heaps of pros do it, it's the perfect learn to DJ transition, as it gives you way more breathing room. It's usually this nice stripped back beat, and you know that the old song's not going to kick back in. When you mix into the middle, trust me, the song's going to kick back in at some point. So by mixing on the outro, it gives you space to focus on your transition, refine your timing, build confidence, and it's going to help you to go from thinking less to feeling more. So for this first transition, let's keep it simple. We're mixing over the outro, and we're going to bring our new song in, and man, just keep watching, man. Okay, just a quick word on phrasing. Understanding phrasing is what's going to make your transitions actually land. Every track is built in repeating sections called phrases. In dance music, a phrase is usually 8 bars long or 32 beats. So 8 bars equals 32 beats. It's the same thing. So 8 bars is one length of like a musical idea, or say how long it goes for before something new kicks in. So all of a sudden at the end of the phrase, maybe a new instrument kicks in, or maybe an instrument drops out. Now you don't need to count bars like when you mix, okay? You just need to start feeling the changes once you know what to listen for. Producers literally design these moments to be heard. They want you to hear the phrases. So what they do all the time, they might pull back at the end of the phrase to make the new phrase kick in. So you might hear a bang, it kicks in. Or maybe they filter out a little bit, making the sound thinner, and then bang. Or it could have a drum roll at the end of the phrase, bang. And what we want to do is we want to come in on the one. And when you line up those phrase changes between two tracks, your mixes feel seamless and musical. That's the secret behind professional sounding transitions. If you want a deeper demo though of phrasing, check out my earlier video. But for now, just remember 8 bars equals one phrase, and you should be lining up the phrases of both your tracks, okay? But here's the thing, when I said one before, that's that first beat of the phrase. That's where the changes are. So you wanna mix in the one of your song, and you line up the ones, line up those changes, and then man, whoa. And I'm gonna be, as we go through this video, man, I'm gonna be pushing phrasing a lot. We'll be hitting play on the one, we'll be swapping basses on the one, we'll be mixing out on the one. This video and this playlist, and I'm gonna show you how to do it and how to DJ, this is going to get you structurally beautiful. It's going to be like, Okay, let's set our cue points for each track in the playlist. There are only 20 tracks total, so this exercise will quickly build your cueing skills and help you navigate the playlist more easily as you start mixing. So for this first mix, we want to mix in on the outro. But if we go and set a cue point on the first beat of the outro and hit play on our new track there, by the time you've beat matched and started mixing in, the crowd's just been listening to an outro on its own, and it can sound pretty flat. And honestly, if you're just playing a stripped back beat with nothing else, it can potentially hurt the energy on your dance floor. So instead, we want our new track to kick in as the outro starts, not afterwards. So here's the steps. First, find the first beat of the outro. So that's usually right after the final chorus. You're going to see the energy drop on the waveform and the beat gets clean again. From that first beat of the outro, go back 2 phrases, okay? So that's 2 times 8 bars or 2 times 32 beats using your beat jump. From at that point, 32 bars before the outro, you're going to go set a cue point. And that's going to be where you're going to bring in your new song. Now, if you bring in your song there 16 bars before the transition point, that's going to give you 8 bars to beat match, 8 bars to come in over the end of the chorus drops off, swap the basses, bang. This is going to be really, really amazing. But now the next question is, where do you set your mix in cue point? What are we going to mix in on that outro? Now, to keep it safe, you can just go set a cue point on the first beat of the song. Or let's say your intro is super long and you kind of want to cut to the chase. You could just put your cue point a little bit further into the track. So let's say you've got like a, maybe a 32 bar intro. Okay, so 4 phrases, and you just want it to be like, maybe half as long. You could go put your cue point 16 bars in, or you could work back from the part that you want to play. So let's say you go find where the verse kicks in, go find that first beat of the phrase where the change happens, and go back 16 bars from that point. And by mixing like that, it's maybe going to make the transitions a little bit tighter. Quickly, just how to set a cue point. Just if for memory cues, just go cue and then memory, that will save it. Or you can actually just set a hot cue and use hot cues in the same way. I know setting cue points can feel a bit daunting at first, but once you've done a few, it actually becomes pretty easy. By setting your cues like this, you're going to always know exactly where to come in and where to mix out, and it's going to give you structure. It's going to give you space to think, and it keeps your mixes clean and musical. Once you've set your cues for all 20 tracks in the playlist, maybe compare them to mine if you want. So I'll flash up a screenshot of my cue point layout now, so you can pause this, compare yours, and when you're happy with how everything looks, we'll dive into the fun part, mixing through the playlist together. All right, now we're into the fun stuff. This playlist has 20 tracks in total, and the goal here is to get you comfortable with the mixing process, build confidence behind the decks, and also experience how energy moves and evolves through a real DJ set. We start off with some Afro house, as I find Afro pretty much set to perfect chill vibes. So if you're starting off playing some Afro, it keeps things light, it's cool. But as we move through the playlist, you're going to notice the energy gradually starts to lift. Now, there are a few different ways to shape a set. So some DJs love to build it like a ramp. They start off slow and they steadily build all the way through. But personally, I like to do what I call the wave. That's where I build things up, maybe hit a big moment, and then maybe bring it back down and build it up again. I find it keeps the set really dynamic. And I also feel making the set flow like this, it's a really great way to manage energy, and it also lets me explore different genres and moods throughout the mix. It also means if you're into the heavier stuff, we're not stuck there. I can, peak with something big, come back down, set it back up again. Maybe I'll go into something groovier or deeper, and I can build it back up again. Keep in mind, my goal here isn't just to help you master transitions or get you used to the mixing process. It's also to introduce you to different styles of music. You're going to hear tracks I personally love, and as you go through, you might start recognizing the difference between, say, Afro house and tech house, or indie dance or melodic house. And from there, you can even dive deeper into the sounds that you vibe with most and start building your own playlist and identity as a DJ. Like, wow, man, like all this from one playlist, like, whoa. Anyway, I could play the full playlist for you, but that would make a long video. So for now, I'm just going to show you a few key transitions that cover the main situations you're going to face, from managing the mixing process, your EQ and energy, to knowing when to bring your new track in and how long to stretch out your transitions for. Now, if you do want me to go through the full set in real time, drop a comment, and if enough people ask, I will make that in the next video. But you should be right from this video alone, I think. Let's now talk about the mixing process. This is the steps that you're going to take every single time that you introduce a new song and do a transition. So number one, load your song. So let's go find the playlist. So if I'm in the side here, go find the playlist that we're using. So it's that Learn to DJ in 30 minutes. Select the playlist, and now we're in the track list section in the middle here. So go to the first song. And if you click that again, it's going to take you back to the playlist. So again, click on the playlist, then we're in the middle here. Now we're going to load the song. Let's load the first song into deck A. So I just hit load, and now this song's loaded. Now you can see the waveform here. So this is the beginning of the song, and that's the end of the song. And that cue point is where we're going to actually start from. And you see the cue point's not quite on the beginning because this intro looks pretty long. So there's not a lot happening to probably about here. So I've just put my cue point a little bit further in, but you can see it's on a change there. That means it's on the first beat of a phrase. So I load my song, I load the cue point, and then we're going to hit play. Now I'm just going to stop that for a sec, but let's pretend that song's playing. And then with the volume down on the other side, so the volume's up there, that's this side playing. Then I'm going to go to the second song in the playlist, load it up, and again, I'm going to go select the cue point. But in this case, I'm going to get that one a little bit further in. So I've got that cue, but again, that intro looks a little bit long. So this one, it's again, see there, it's on the first beat of a phrase. See, that's the pullback that you can listen to. That's the clue that the artist and producer pulls back to make that one hit. And look, my cue point's on the one. So, okay, so I've got this song loaded. I've got the cue point ready to go. But if we're playing both songs together at the same time, you want to check the songs are at the same speed, and speed is measured by BPM. That stands for beats per minute. Now, you can see here the BPMs of both songs are the same. But if they were different, you line it up with the tempo fader here. But if you're moving the tempo fader, you do want to make sure that the master tempo button is on. If that button's off, when you go to change the speed of the song, not only does it change the speed of the song, but it also changes the pitch. So consider this master tempo button kind of like an anti-chipmunk button, okay? So you're just going to leave that on the whole time. So, well, at least for now. Okay, so we load the song, we load the cue point, we check the BPMs are the same. If the BPMs are different, we move this. But just one thing quickly. Let's imagine you got one song where the original speed is 120 and another song where the original speed is 130. Well, you'd probably meet the BPMs in the middle. Okay, so you'd take them both to 125. Now, here's the thing. They generally say you can move the BPM 5 BPMs either side of its original speed without people noticing. So all these songs are pretty much within 10 BPMs of each other. So we're going to be able to beat match everything. So, okay, so we've got 122, 122. I've matched up the BPMs. I've got the cue point ready. Now the next step is we want to hit play on this song and mix them together. But whereabouts in the song playing do we introduce our new song? And that's where we've got that cue point. So we've gone in advance already, gone and found that drop off, that first beat of the outro, and put a cue point 16 bars earlier. That means if I hit play at that point, then by the time I beat match and bring it in, this bit will land in there and that will be beautiful. Now we have two options now. We can just enjoy the music and wait for that cue point to come around. Or if you do want to practice your transitions, we could maybe fast forward it. You'd never do that live, but just so we can practice. So I might go click just a little bit before that waveform. Okay, now I'm seeing that cue point come up. So even though the BPMs are the same, if I don't hit play at the right time, I might have to line up the beats here. So there's that change. I hit play, so those cue points line up. Then I use my headphones to beat match and line up the beats. Just quickly on beat matching. There is a full video I've done about that. I'll link that in now, but the beat matching comes down to two steps really. Number one, making sure the tempos are the same. And then number two, if you hit play a little bit off beat, well, you might have to move the beats slightly forward or back with the jog wheel here. This is a way of thinking about it. Let's say you've got two people walking at the same speed, but one person just started one step earlier. It's almost like saying to the other guy, hurry up, mate, giving him a little push so the beats are moving together in sync. And we can do that with the jog wheel here. Now, again, watch the video about beat matching. This video I'm trying to condense pretty much to make it about using this playlist. And if you don't know how to beat match already, yeah, check out the video, but you want to be moving the wheel kind of like that. Like little jolts, because if you move it like this, you might not hear it. So you want to kind of go like that. I know you can look at the waveforms and stack the waveforms. I think learning to beat match by ear is actually a lot of fun. And if you can't not look at the waveforms, you could always hit space on your computer and hide those waveforms. That would make it a little bit harder. But anyway, I find that once people start looking at the waveforms, their beat matching gets worse because they're watching, they're not listening. Okay, so you hit play and then beat match and line up the beats. Okay, let's do the transition. So take it close to that mix out point. Got my headphones on. Okay, once you beat match, then on the next phrase, try and hear the phrases. We're going to work with the phrases. Bring up the volume on the 1. 8, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Hear how that came in kind of aggressively? That's because we've got two full songs here. We'll do that next. Okay, and now you'll hear, this is actually our transition point. And the outro hits, and my new song kicks in. Okay, but here's the thing. If you're bringing up the volume and you've got two full songs playing together, it can be kind of intense, especially when playing in a full club setup where you've got subs and, really high quality speakers. So that's where the EQ comes into place, and it's about trying to control what the dominant song in the mix is and controlling how the songs sit together. So the EQ, you got the highs, the mids, and the bass, and straight up is how the song comes recorded. So if I'm playing a song on its own, I just leave it straight up the whole time. The only time I'm ever turning the EQ or using the EQ is when I've got two songs playing together. So this is the common thread of it, and that is you reduce the EQ for the one you're going to bring in. So when you bring up the volume, it sits in the background, okay? It comes in discreetly. And then when you're ready to make your new song dominant, you can actually then bring your EQ in for your new song and the EQ out of your old song. Now we're going to start with bass swapping, but realistically, I love using the whole EQ, and I smash into that in my course. Like I've got EQ structures and different ways of looking at the EQ that is honestly, it's not taught like that anywhere in the world. Like I love the EQ and how it works, but I also know from teaching beginners, you've got to be careful with how much you give people too soon. So I think the very first thing for you is bass swapping. That's always the first thing that everyone learns. So what we're going to do is we hit play and we beat match. But when you beat match, you probably want your EQ up, because if you got that down when you're beat matching, you're going to maybe struggle to hear that. So you want to beat match with your EQ reset, but the volume's down. People can't hear your beat matching. You get your beats in sync, hopefully within 8 bars. If you don't manage to beat match within 8 bars, I still think bring up the volume anyway on that new phrase and then fix them up out loud. That's going to get you used to thinking, okay, I've got 8 bars to beat match, and that's really good training. So, okay, you hit play, you beat match. And then what we do is as soon as we're finished beat matching, we're going to reduce the bass. I think halfway is good at first, Down there sometimes makes it a little bit tinny. Here, it just kind of takes the edge off. So we beat match, reduce the bass to, about halfway. So that means then when we bring the volume in, it's sitting in the background, and we come in on a 1. And that means it's going to be way less aggressive. Then once the chorus drops off completely, we swap the basses, and that's going to put our new song dominant, and that's going to put this one in the background. Let me show you that. Okay, so I beat match, I reduce the bass for the one I'm bringing in, come in on the 1. Okay. And then on the 1, 8, 2, 3, 4, bang. Beautiful. That's what I want you to do for the entire playlist. But let's say you've done your bass swap, then the next question is, how long do you play both songs together for? Honestly, it is up to you, but if I am taking the volume out, I want to take it out on a phrase, because that's when artists and producers take out the volume. They take out, instruments or add instruments on the 1. Or we could take it out 1 bar before, because now see the artist and producer create the space to emphasize that one. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, I'll do a couple more. So I reset that one, the volume's down, I reset that so I can hear this next song in my headphones. I go to the next song in my playlist, I load the song. Okay, if it's still playing, just hit Q to stop it, but then go to your Q point. Then we check our BPMs are the same. That's the thing everyone always forgets. Make sure that your BPMs are the same. If not, match them up here. Now, I've got this song ready, it's ready to go. Whenabouts in the song playing do I introduce my new song to the mix? We're gonna come in at that last cue point. For the sake of this class, I might just fast forward that. You'd never do it live, just take it there. Okay, I see that cue coming up. I've got my headphones on. Once I get the songs in sync, I reduce the bass for the one I'm bringing in. I take my headphones off so I can hear it come in. 8, 2, 3, 4. See, you heard that drum. That drum gave away that at the end of the phrase, the producers love to do something to make the one hit. That's how you learn to hear it without counting. See, it's going to pull back here. It's the end of the phrase. 8, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. And see, if I want to take it out, I could take it out now because it's the end of the phrase. See? And that sounded natural because I'm taking it out where a phrase would be. So always think about that. We want to line up the phrases of both songs. We're bringing out the volume and doing bass swapping, emphasizing the ones, emphasizing the changes. But even when you take the volume out, make it work with the phrasing. You're always phrasing everything. It makes it sound really, really professional. So my advice is to go through that entire playlist, repeating those steps. So loading the song, loading the cue point, matching the BPMs, hitting play at that mix out cue, beat matching, then reducing the EQ and doing your transition. So you come in, bring the volume up, do your bass swapping, do your transition. Now, I know from teaching so many beginners that at first it's that process that people need to memorize, and the best way to memorize it is to do the mixing process again and again and again. And that's what I've given you this playlist for. So you don't have to also at the same time think about what songs you're going to play and figuring it all out. So I've given you the playlist so you can condition the mixing process. So if you do want the mixing process to like print out and, you know, just put somewhere, or you want a pretty thing for your phone, I have got a mixing process PDF that's actually part of my free mini course. I'll put that in the description below. But at the end of the day, you could also write it down as well and just condition those steps over and over. And I find by writing it out, it actually helps you to memorize it too. And I know, again, from teaching thousands of people, at first, until you've conditioned the mixing process, you're thinking too much. Okay, and you're like, wow, is this what DJing's all about? I thought I was connecting with the music. But on the other side of conditioning those steps and knowing what to do every single time you're going to introduce a mix and what to look out for, which is what this playlist is all about. At the other side of that, man, you're going to be feeling more. Okay, this is actually the key to thinking less and feeling more. And it's training, it's getting the reps in, it's doing, you know, it's repeating this over and over. Okay, but here's the thing. One more thing I want to add to this video, and that is, okay, even if I take the bass down, if I bring the volume up too quickly, sometimes the new song can still kind of come in a little bit aggressively, and that would be the high frequencies. So once you've done the whole playlist bass swapping and you're used to it, do the playlist again and then add the highs as well. So what I find is if ever you bring in the volume like, whoa, it is the highs. So I love to reduce the highs a little bit too. And that just means when I bring up the volume, it's going to be a little bit more forgiving. Then we're going to swap the basses at the same point. That means emphasizing the one. But after we swap the basses, then I can use the highs to kind of like come in from underneath. And I get a little boost by bringing that in. You could even swap the highs. And by doing so, by taking out the high of the exiting song as well, it carves out a little bit of space for this one to come in. So again, the EQ is always about reducing the EQ for the one that's coming in, getting that one in and the other one out. Let me show you. So beat match, take out the bass and the highs. We'll come in on the one and you'll see it'll be less kind of punchy. See, it's softer. Before that one came in a little bit abrupt. Okay, by swapping the basses first, we're coming in underneath. It's a little bit more forgiving and I think better to learn that way. Beautiful. Now, eight, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, how long you play them together? You got to ask, is playing them together enhancing the mix? If not, get it out. But I got it out on the phrase. Okay, let's just do one more. Go to the next song, load the song, reset the EQ, stop the song, go to the cue point. Check the BPMs are the same. If they're not, move this. I think we're just starting off with some Afro and then the BPMs start picking up soon. Okay, so now I've got this song ready. I'm gonna just fast forward this song to practice my transition. I see that cue point coming up. Once I beat match, hopefully within the 8 bars, reduce the bass halfway and the highs for the song we're bringing in. 8, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we wait. I'm giving you a little bit of extra time here to fix the beats if you have to. That's all right, just little micro moves is fine. And then on the 1 here, see, it pulls back before the 1. Bang. Okay. And then we don't have to wait for a 1 here, we just bring that in. Oh, if you have to fix up the beats now, beat match the one that's less dominant in the mix. I might take the volume out here. Yeah, see how I took it out on a 1, you know, just before the 1 to make the 1 hit. Okay, man, do that for the whole playlist. This is gonna get you fully ready. Like, I'm really, really excited for you. Like, okay, man, whoa. Okay, if you enjoyed this and you want to go deeper, check out my follow along playlist and transitions course, which I'm giving early access and free access to as part of my Black Friday package. Inside, I teach 9 pro DJ transitions across genres like Afro house, tech house, melodic house, techno, indie dance, dance pop, hip hop, all the main genres. And I've got them all with curated playlists ready to stream and jam. This style of teaching builds confidence fast and it helps you become way more creative in the way that you play. You're going to learn to mix with intention, controlling the energy of your set, not just through song selection, but through which parts of each track you choose to play. Trust me, learning a transition, then actually practicing it without the hassle of hunting for music, it's the fastest and funnest way to learn. Don't get me wrong, like the goal is so that you can then use those skills to create your own playlist. But then when you're doing your own playlist, you're gonna have like 9 transitions to incorporate and all these different genres I've introduced you to. And even I'll show you how I've been crafting a set. And it's just going to take you, it's going to give you all the skills you need. Like, it's like, wow. Anyway, I'm really excited about it, but go check out my website. I'll link that in the description below. I'm really excited to hear how you go with this playlist. So please drop a comment in below. And again, thank you so much for your support. And if you haven't already, man, come on, subscribe, man, pay it forward. And okay, enjoy mixing. Woohoo.